Okay, I think we will just give it a few seconds for everyone to join us this afternoon. Well, hello and welcome everyone. As always, a special thanks to our community and followers for tuning in today. We can actually see in the list a number of usual suspects connected, so it's great to see faces again. Et aussi, un grand bonjour à notre audience française, toujours de plus en plus nombreuse, but I will switch back in English now. So, what a pleasure to be back for this new live event from London. As always, we've prepared some goodies to share with you, and we will go through quizzes and polls to keep the show as alive as possible. Topical point for today, mobile applications. Obviously, this is one of the great topics of the day, especially with the remote working capabilities, field workers, etc. And we will show you what you can do with your existing Nintex K2 toolbox. So Amanda will be in charge of that. And also, we'll show you how you can take it up a notch with the Jigx platform. So, for this, I have the pleasure of introducing, right next to me, Magic Dennis, who can turn, apparently, any web app into a mobile app just by, snapping his fingers. Amazing stuff. Welcome, Dennis.
Hey, thank you very much. Great to be here. Nice to be with you guys.
And of course, next to me, to my left, and she needs no introductions, we have our super wizard, Amanda, who's always keen to push the boundaries of low-code app dev. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Finally, for those who don't know me yet, I'm Bertrand, and I have the merit of moving my hands in the air quite a bit, and I shall be your humble host today. As always, we will mix information sharing and demos. So, of course, at any point during the session, if you have any questions, there's a Q&A button in the toolbar of the team. So please use that. We will try and answer those questions as we go along, but there is also a Q&A. There's time for Q&A at the end of the session today. So we're going to be able to ask those questions to our lovely panelists. So speaking of questions, and I talked earlier about the remote working, obviously after COVID, etc. Partly the world has changed, and we've kept some of those habits. So we thought we would kickstart with a generic question to understand how you're typically working when you're remote. I don't know, Dennis, do you have special habits?
Well, luckily we can only see above the table here, right?
Exactly. Thank you. Amanda?
I would prefer staying in my pajamas.
You're a pyjama. Okay, super. So hopefully you are all able to put in your vote so that we can see the results at some point. Let me show this here. Can we actually see the poll or not? I don't think it's showing somehow. There we go. This is the first of many. Any technical issues? No, people have actually answered. Fabulous. Well,
most of them.
Well, actually, yeah, we can safe to say that the majority of you guys are wearing the regular outfit and not pyjamas. Very good, fantastic. All right. So let's move on, and I will kick off the festivities just for a minute by giving you a glance as to what AMO is, and what we do. Well, in the simplest way possible, we build beautiful digital solutions for your corporate needs. And coming from this industry, we are just way too conscious of the stigma of that industry, the development world, being that typically applications are always late, they cost a lot more than what was planned, and at the end, we don't really get what we asked for. So we are on a mission to eradicate those cliches, and for that, we've adopted a novel approach that should remove all of those sticky pain points. And we achieved this with the marriage of local technologies, our own in-house framework, thanks to our architect here, Amanda, and most importantly, a lot of great, caring people that work for us, that we've got the privilege of working with on a daily basis. And ultimately, our objective is to make sure that we deliver in record time the right interface, the right workflow, and the right data sets for your end users so that they can get everything that they need at the right time. Okay, so with this in mind, I think it's probably time to kickstart a quick demo. So I will now hand over to Amanda, if you want to share.
And you should all see my screen now. So as we can see, incident happens all the time, and therefore that's why we chose this subject as the main topic for today's demo. We've built, using Nintex Automation, incident management portal. And what is important here is to provide a solution to everyone, regardless of their devices, and obviously to have the minimum response time when it comes to resolution to an incident, not just replying to it, but also resolving the incident. So this platform shows real live data that is refreshed automatically, and then you get the KPIs and reports that we can build into an Nintex Automation app quickly with a nice design, now with one of the latest upgrade of the tool. You can push it a little bit further. So you have here a list of incidents that I'm just going to open and then show you how we can display information. So we can have information about the incident. We can have the images, reports displayed just to show basically where we at, and to have the maximum information in a minimum of time, basically. Any information about the ongoing process of the incident in a nicely displayed manner. And we can push it a little bit further on our side to have the more personalization when it comes to the display, for the dark mode or light mode, for example, for the preference of the end users. We can have also this platform on mobile, obviously, but we will have with Nintex Automation, we will have a responsive form. So now, if I open it using the just the mobile version size, you will see that the same form basically will be displayed in a nice manner, adapted to mobile devices as a web page. So you can still do the same action. You have the same information on the screen with kind of the same controls as well. It's just displayed differently. We retrieve again some of the display elements there that we can add. So we can push now a little bit more our applications to be available for everyone. So that's the incident management platform, but on the website. The important element here is for people that are on the field and that need to access to that application to raise an issue, to take a quick picture and send it to the platform managers so they can act on it as soon as possible. And this is where the mobile app comes to life and is important here.
Okay,
Brilliant.
thank you.
Should I?
Yes, I will. From here, if you wanted to stop sharing, sure. Resume sharing on my side. Hopefully, I'm gonna get to this slide. Very good. So that's a nice transition. So I think what you're saying is that we're able today with the Nintex toolkit to actually reach to those mobile users, well, in a responsive format. So
Exactly.
It's still web, but displayed for a mobile format. Thank you. So as we walk into the mobile native world, we had a question to you as the audience as to what would be typically your preference in terms of mobile. There is the eternal battle around the iPhone and the Google phone. So yeah, we're interested to know, I guess, which side are you on? Well, on the basis that I can see you're running from a Mac, I kind of know the answer probably on your side.
Yeah, but the nice thing is it doesn't matter, right? So
well,
you can have either, which is cool.
Thank you. You've stolen my line.
Sorry, man.
Very good. Oh, okay, so we will now close this poll. And interestingly enough, we have a majority of Android users in the room today.
There we go. Sorry, guys. Apple demo today, but next time I'll remember.
Yeah, but the most important point is whatever you're going to show us today is available on both platforms. Okay, so let us carry on, and I shall hand over to you, Dennis.
Brilliant. So similar to what Bertrand said in the beginning, there's some familiar names in the audience, so welcome to you, and also great to meet a bunch of new people. For people that have not come across us before, I'm going to spend 3 or 4 minutes just talking about Jigx. And from there, I promise we'll jump out of PowerPoint pretty quickly and we'll get into a demo because I'm sure that's what you want to see. So just talking a little bit about Jigx, we created Jigx around 4 years ago to solve a problem that we've seen across many technology companies. So mobile, important as it is, often ends up being a little bit of the poor cousin, actually. So somehow it doesn't quite get the development resources. And what we see from an end user experience is that end users often end up with a somewhat compromised experience. So often we want to try and say, hey, we can solve this by squeezing a website onto a phone. And we end up with this kind of slow experience on the phone, which is somewhat frustrating for end users. So the whole rationale behind Jigx was to create a platform that would enable our customers to create incredible experiences for their end users, but using mobile applications that are native. And that's a challenge, because when you double tap on that statement, what you find behind there is, as we just saw in the poll there, firstly, you've got myriad of different types of operating systems to deal with. So you've got iOS and you've got Android, and then obviously a myriad of devices within there. And then if we step out of the mobile platform, tablets as well. And the beauty of Jigx is that it addresses all of those. So regardless of the type of device that your end user has, your application, once written on the platform, will just run across all those devices. Now, there's a couple of other challenges that you need to solve if you want to make these applications really compelling for your end users. One thing that we all know in this industry is that unless things are beautiful and they're well crafted, end users often struggle to adapt that. So one of the things that we work really, really hard on is to make sure that when you develop these apps, we give you pre-built UI components that make it very, very easy for you to build these applications. So that's a huge challenge. The other one is performance, and performance and offline kind of come together. If you solve the offline problem and you're using the power of your device, you can make sure that an end user gets a really, really slick experience. And that's something that we do out of box. We do it natively. And it means that if you're online, you're connected, and you will see this today, your changes on the phone get immediately reflected on your hosted app. But if you are offline, we queue and we allow you to sync those transactions as you come online. And we've got some really interesting use cases in there. One of our customers actually flies helicopters around. They do it for life-saving applications, and you can imagine that helicopters are in and out of coverage. And they are able just to use the app, pick up patients, log helicopter times, do all of that logistics completely seamlessly. And as soon as that device comes online, all of that mission information is synced. And that's flying in helicopters every single day of the week. So fairly mission critical. Great. So that's a great, that's great theory, but what does that mean? Well, what we can see here are the kinds of experiences that you can develop. So here is just a reflection of some of the capabilities that are delivered out of box, and whether it's forms or graphs or images or any kind of UI that you want to implement on the phone, Jigx does a really, really good job of bringing those to life in your application pretty quickly. And we're going to look at some stats of the app that we developed today a little bit later. Let's move on. So just high-level architecture of the platform, what's there. If you develop in the Jigx platform, what do you need to be? Well, one thing you don't need to be is you do not need to be an Objective-C or a Swift or a C++ developer. Yes, you will be using Visual Studio Code because we think well, actually, we don't think, we know. VS Code is the most highly used development environment in the world. Millions and millions of developers are familiar with that. So if you can create an environment in there which is easy to develop with IntelliSense and debug, which is what we've done, using a high-level abstract language, we use a construct called YAML, you can very, very quickly start building mobile applications. And the challenge I always throw out to people is to say, if you are a developer and you know SQL and you understand the construct of a loop, you can develop a mobile application using Jigx. That's it. You don't need to know more than that. What we then deliver out of box is integration. So some of those may be a little bit small for you to read, but whether it's Salesforce or SQL Azure, or Azure Functions, or any web service, we can integrate with any REST endpoint. We provide a cloud management environment, and I underline the word management because one thing we're not doing is using that as a runtime. It's very important to understand that. When the mobile device connects to its endpoint, it actually connects directly. We just kind of, if you like, in a way, marshal that connection to make sure that we know what solution is connecting where and that it's connecting in a secure way. And then clearly, we're able to provide some statistics about solutions and who's using what solutions. But the most important point is the picture on the right, which is the application itself. So with Jigx, what you will get, and we'll see this just now, is a fully native application. You can take that application, you can list it in the App Store, and for end user purposes, they are just getting an end user app. So just before we kick into the demo, I'm going to give us a little sneak preview of what we've done. So Amanda gave us this app Wednesday, Tuesday last week, I think. I cannot remember exactly when. She can keep me honest, whenever it was.
At the end of the week.
Yeah, okay. It was a couple of days ago, and we did have the Jigx team. Thanks to all the Jigx team that worked on this. But across that, it was about 2 days to put this application together. And without further ado, I'm going to jump in and do that. Actually, just very quickly before we jump in there, just a few things to measure. So this application does everything you see there on the right. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But just to note, user management is built in, your whole user invite system is done, integrated chat is in there. We're going to see a little bit of stuff with AI, which I hope you're going to like. It's ready for the App Store, it's native, it works offline, and of course it's integrated with an Nintex toolset in this particular instance. Great, so let's go and have a look at the demo. Right, so I am going to take the share. the app up first. There we go. Teams banner. There we go. All right, so you should be able to see great. We can see the mobile app next to Amanda's Nintex app. And what you'll see is a couple of things that we should take note of. So the first thing is, if we look at the branding is exactly the same, down to the exact colors of logos, the color theme that Amanda's chosen. All of that is reflected in the app, and that is by design. So we asked Amanda to just give us a preview early on of kind of the app that she was working on, and then we were able to theme the Jigx app exactly the same as the portal app. And if you go to your phone, what you'll see there is it is just the native app. So there's the AMO app. If I click on that, then I come into that, and we'll have a look at kind of what the branding, the splash screens look as part of what we do. Also, Amanda just showed you the light and the dark. So if we go in there, what we'll see is that if I go into settings, I can, for those of you, and I know that this is sometimes a very passionate argument, we have this a bunch inside Jigx, but there are those people out there that only want to work in dark. So if you want to do that, you can have your app in dark theme. So whichever you like. Now, personally, actually interesting, I like a little bit of both. I have Visual Studio in dark, but for most of my other stuff, I have it in light theme. So for today's demo, we are going to go with light theme, which matches what we've got on the left. So great. So what we can see if we look at this is a couple of things. The first thing is, let's think about the persona who's using this app. This is somebody who's mobile, clearly, who's walking around the building, who's dealing with incidents on a day-to-day basis, and wants to be able to record those, take pictures, work offline, and then get advice. If they've got an urgent situation, they might actually want to get some advice about what's going on. Also, as the custodian of all these incidents, what they want to be able to do is to be able to have stats. Now, if we look at the stats right now, we've got 41 incidents. So let's hope that that's over a long period of time. Now, the reality is that it's a little bit of demo numbers, but you get the idea. So I can drill down at this. So if I look at this, I can say, well, hey, let me look at all 41 of these incidents, and I can then drill down and have a look at any of them. So, I might have a look at this unauthorized access attempt. I can see all the details of that and have a look at that. What we can also see is that we've just added some nice things in here that I can filter this. So if I want to look at just my high impact incidents, I can do that. Or I can look at the medium ones if I want to look at that. Or of course, if I want to look at the low ones, I can look at that. So I can very quickly filter and drill down using the mobile interface. And we can see as well that from a responsive point of view, this thing is absolutely instant. So as soon as I click on something, it's absolutely instant. And that reflects the architecture that we spoke about earlier. All right, great. So I can see it by urgency. I can also see it by severity. So if I want to see by severity how this looks, I can also take a look at it that way. So that's great. I see the top 3, which will be the latest. And as we saw now, we can drill down into any of these incidents. Now, what we'll see if we look at the mobile app and we compare it to what we see on the right, it's almost identical, right? So you'll see Amanda's got menu options for announcements, emergency invoice, resources, and settings. So that is all reflected in the app. So it's a duplication. Any customization that you do can be brought into the mobile app. And of course, on mobile app, what you might want to do is just bring in more mobile concepts. So the concept of chat. So here I might say, and this will go to anybody on the team. So maybe we want to say, can anyone help with a slip injury? And this would immediately go out to anybody who's logged in onto the mobile app on the team. They would get that notification on their phone. And so those capabilities that we have on the mobile device are immediately available to the team that's dealing with us. So probably most importantly, what we might want to do is create a new incident. So I'm just going to see if we can get these two a little bit more side by side. So we can see that on the latest one here, we've got 54. I am going to go and create a new incident here. So we'll see here what we do. is we can use the form on the mobile phone. And what we do is we break this up nicely so that it's sort of more micro experiences, makes it.
Because it's only 53.
Okay. Let me do that. Thanks, Amanda. There we go. So we're at 53. And I'm going to create this new incident here, which is going to be 54 by the looks of it. So I am going to make this created by Alice. I'm going to say it happened today. I'm going to say it was reported by Alice, and the incident date again was today. And we can see just small things on here. Everything that you see here is not controls on controls. These are the native iOS controls that you're seeing. So this is the native calendar control that's available in iOS. And if you're on the Android, you would get similarly those native controls. If I go through to the next one, I can say, all right, this is the incident. So I'm going to say slip in foyer, and I'm going to say customer slipped on the floor area. Great. I'm going to say it's low and the incident severity is minor. It's an environmental issue. The incident location was the foyer. What else do we need? The person involved, we'll say that's the safety team. And we're through to the next area where we can take a photograph if we want to. In this instance, I'm actually not going to, although I am just later. So hold your fire on that. We will do one with a photograph just a little bit later, the specific point I want to make there. So once I've got that incident captured, I can go to the summary, and here I can see everything associated with that. So I can make sure that I've captured absolutely everything for that. And if I'm happy with everything there, I can go ahead and I can create this one here. And I see that we've actually got a little bit of an issue, but let's just see if we didn't. Otherwise, I missed something here. So let's just see, maybe I missed a field. So we've got everything there. Let's just go to the next step. Low, mine, environmental, we've got everything there. It could be the attachment actually is probably what it is. So let's get one here. I think we actually have a foyer. There we go. Let's choose that one and go to the summary. We should have everything there. And let's create that. That looks more encouraging. So if we refresh this now, there we can see there's the slip in the foyer has come through. So we can see how the two are syncing. Now, one of the things that we thought might be quite fun to do, having them both work together, is just see if we could take this situation and enhance it a little bit. So I'm going to refresh there. There we can see that the mobile device has now synced with the Nintex environment and pulled that latest one down. And let's go and have a look at that detail. And what I'm going to do here, we can see that it pulls all the detail, including the image that we just took. And what I'm going to do here is say, well, actually, I need to do something. Now, if you think about a health and safety person in a corporate environment, they are going to be facing any number of challenges. So one of the things that we might want to do is say, hey, could I get some help to deal with this thing? So I'm going to ask for some AI help on this and see if we can get some help from AI. And we'll see what's happened here. So interesting things that have occurred here. So the first thing is that the LLM here has actually been coached. So it's not just a straight off question to GPT. We've actually done some coaching on the model to give it a little bit more context. So when we see this, you'll see that it has a little bit of context of what is actually going on here. So immediately cordon off the area, investigate the root cause, examine the floor surface based on the assessment findings, etc. So it's a pretty comprehensive answer that we've been able to get, and immediately gives the person who's on the scene of the accident something that they can actually now start working on. And of course, what I can do is not only do that, but I can actually start actioning the stuff off. So as I do the steps, I can then click these things off and I can step through them as I complete them. So there we see that AI in action. So we thought that was a pretty interesting example of just showing how you could bring, and we all know that it's flavor of the day, but bringing in AI into this, and again, all within that time frame, we thought was a pretty interesting use case. So I think I'm probably starting to run over my time slot, but I am going to bring this back to the main screen. I'll just do one final thing on the home screen here, and that is I'll just log off the app. So if I log out here, just so that you get the user experience, you'll see that from a branding point of view, we get this beautiful branding as part of the native app experience as well. So that as you come into the app, your company brand or whatever you're dealing with will be there. It's not a container-based thing. It's an absolutely native app that is App Store ready, and it will run across all your devices. And with that, Bertrand, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Beautiful. Wow. Thanks. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks to Amanda. I think we did receive a few questions whilst this was happening. And let me just bring up the slide deck once again. Before we answer those questions, we have a final quiz to go through together today. And this one is going to be a bit more informative than the ones that we've done earlier. So let me just bring this up now. And let me launch it for everyone to see. So what do you think? What percentage of global internet traffic comes from mobile devices? And that is as of the end of last year. And this is real data, by the way. So we can submit an answer. See what's happening. Okay. So it's kind of neck and neck, isn't it? Between 55, 65.
A bit more on the 65 bar, right?
A bit more on the 65. Fair enough. Okay, so let me just close this. And I don't know whether actually you guys can see the answer, but yeah, the good response was 55. So yeah, actually, so now we know that at least half of the internet traffic goes through, well, mobile devices. So that's a good thing, I guess, to keep in mind, especially given the lovely platform that you've presented us with.
Yeah, and also interesting, Bertrand, is that number crossed actually at the end of last year. So I think around about November last year was the crossover point from desktop to mobile. So really, really interesting in terms of where traffic is coming from now, and also, I guess, reflecting both the pervasiveness of the platform as well as the power of the mobile platform. And I think people are starting to really wake up to what's possible on the mobile platform.
Okay. Thank you. So there were a few questions, I think, as you were showcasing this app earlier. And one of the first ones, and that would be for you, Dennis, is how does it work in terms of the data and information transit between, I guess, my corporate data sources and the end device?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let me pick that one up. So the first thing is to notice is that you are totally secured. So when you expose a data source that can be consumed from the outside, there's a couple of common strategies for dealing with that. So one would be that you obviously lock those down with API keys, a common way that many things are done. Also, SSO is a common way to do it. So either via AAD or via a secure login. And we support all of those mechanisms for making sure that end clients are properly authenticated onto the corporate resource. And as I say, whether it's keys or whether it's SSO, we support all of those scenarios. So that is the simple answer to that. Once that's done, and you are communicating with that corporate data source, the mobile device basically uses the mobile security and essentially the same enclaves that are used in banking applications to make sure that data is secured at all times. So obviously it's encrypted over the line. Once it gets onto your device, only the app has visibility to that data, and the data is protected within the enclave of the app in the same way that your Outlook or your banking data or any other data that you have on your device is done. And we've done with various corporates now, we've done quite a lot of penetration security testing. And Jigx is certainly in the enterprise category as far as that's concerned. So yeah, sure. If there's anything else, feel free to reach out afterwards if there are more detailed questions. But that's the kind of high level on that one.
Okay. The other one that actually came quite early in the conversation, and it's probably for both of you guys. But what is the requirement to integrate, our Nintex K2 toolbox and the Jigx platform? How does it work?
So I'll answer both there. So look, what Nintex does is it exposes basically functionality as endpoints, as REST endpoints, which makes it really easy to work with. I mean, I guess no secret on this call, we have some history with the K2 platform. So we certainly know that side of it, and we know from working with the other Nintex products that there's a similar strategy. But whether you're exposing smart objects, database, the workflows themselves, any of those endpoints, we can just pick those up and work with them. And then from a licensing point of view, I'll leave you guys to deal with the Nintex licensing. But from our side, we license either by app or by user. So you can say, look, I've got an app. I don't know how many users. I'm just going to throw it out there. And we just give you an app license, which makes it really easy for you to do that. Or if you've got a smaller app, you say, look, I only need to give this to 20 odd users. We give you a very effective per user licensing model. So we've been really pleased with the reaction that we've had to the licensing model. It's really simple, no complications in it. And most people say to us that it's very affordable.
Okay, right. Well, that was one of the questions actually that also came up around licensing. The next one actually was asked during your demonstration around K2, as it were, and the question was: do you need to create different forms or views when it comes to the mobile responsiveness?
For this application, I did just because of the time constraint that we had to prepare this application. So it was easy for me because you can just duplicate a form and then do a little bit of adjustment. But it's not necessarily the option. You can still use the same forms. It's just more tricks using CSS and JavaScript now to make it fully responsive to mobile. But it will come with limitations. So offline, we won't be able to cover all the native controls. We cannot use that. It will still be a web page with the web controls.
Okay, very good. And actually, speaking about offline, there was a question around. Well, it was offline. How does it work? Can I put flight mode on my phone and use the app?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, what I say to this is that clearly we cannot break the laws of physics. So if you are offline and you are trying to ask ChatGPT to give you some AI assistance and you kind of want to work that offline, it's not going to work, right? So that's the first thing to know. But what we do is we allow you to operate completely offline from a transactional point of view. So if you think about this example that we worked with today, where I was creating a new incident, I can 100% create that new incident offline. So I could be offline, I could be in the basement of a building, I could create that entire incident, including taking the photograph. And the moment I come out of the basement, I don't need to then tell the device, okay, I'm now online, do something. The device will recognize that we're now online. It will have queued all of the transactions, in this case for the Nintex app, and it'll immediately play those transactions out of the queue, including the upload of the photograph, so that as soon as you're online, it'll basically do that for you. Now, of course, I can hear the technical people talking about resolution and conflict. And honestly, it's the same as basically multiple people operating off a web interface. And essentially, it'll be last update wins. You do have programmatic interaction if you want to go and do some special conflict resolution if you do. But if I think about the complexity of the scenario we have actually with the life flight guys doing rescue missions, multiple helicopters, multiple regions, different times, we have had zero issues with the offline online stuff, which is a pretty robust scenario.
Well, especially in the critical industry.
Yeah, so look, it's something that we've worked very, very hard on. I guess I would make one further point. Actually, the very first piece of IP when we started building the Jigx machine was actually a sync machine. That's what was built first, before any UI was crafted. The very first thing that was built was a sync machine, and it was very much in the founders' minds to solve this offline problem because we heard it so much from so many customers. So please don't think there's a second-class citizen or it's a sales gimmick. It's a critical part of the platform, and we believe it's a super competitive advantage for us.
Right. Thank you, Dennis. Someone raised their hand earlier. I think it was VJ. I don't know whether you wanted to ask a question. I see your hand has been lowered. I can try and allow your microphone. I don't know whether this is going to work, but I will try now. So hopefully now, if you wanted to ask your question, you can unmute and do so, VJ.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for that. My question is to Amanda. Like the document viewer part, which you have handled in the application, is it from the out of the box, or it's managed through JavaScript or something else?
It's managed through JavaScript and CSS. Yes.
Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah, that was my question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, VJ. Okay, so I'll give it a few seconds if anyone else wants to raise their hands or ask any other questions. I think we are good. So time to conclude. Well, thanks a lot to our panelists, Dennis and Amanda, and obviously thanks to you guys for joining us and keeping our community very much alive. You're amazing. So we will be back soon, again live probably from London or Paris, depending where the wind takes us. So we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.